Don't walk out on stage alone. Partner with your shadow. Make room for the magic. In this final video, I'll show you a simple three-part process that can radically change how you experience performance anxiety and help you walk on stage feeling supported instead of exposed. Welcome to the fourth and final video in our Shadow series for musicians. Hi, I'm Beeching, and I'm glad you're here for this one. If you haven't watched the previous videos in the series, pause here and go back. This one builds on the foundation of the first three. And in this video, you'll learn how to partner with your shadow on stage, not just for performing, but for introducing your work to audiences as well. Let's be clear. Fear is a normal human response. Whether you're performing or speaking in public, the prospect of being judged can overload your system with fear of failure, rejection, humiliation. Fear is not weakness. It's a sign you care about your work and that you're emotionally present. And here's the key. When you build a relationship with your shadow, you never have to walk on stage alone. You walk united. Remember, your shadow is a part of your unconscious. It's what you've tried to repress, deny, and exclude from your music making. The goal is to have an ongoing, healthy relationship with your shadow instead of trying to shut it out of your life. If you've been bringing your shadow into the practice room and turning toward it for perspective and new ideas, this is the next step. This is about staying aligned with your shadow when you're under pressure, when it counts, when your body is buzzing with adrenaline and your thoughts start racing. Staying present with your shadow takes practice, just like anything else. So let me tell you about what my client Tom discovered that completely changed his relationship with adrenaline on stage. He'd already been journaling and practicing with his shadow, but to improve his performances, I asked Tom to use visualization to see himself walking on stage with his shadow. They'd take a bow together, then sit side by side on the piano bench. But the crucial part was that Tom would also imagine the audience. He let himself feel the pressure, the nervous excitement, and the adrenaline flooding in. He let himself feel all the emotions that performing brought up, the very feelings he had always pushed aside or tried to stuff into his shadow. At first, Tom said this felt out of control, like he was having too much energy coursing through his body. But Tom stuck with it. In the practice room, Tom would imagine performing with his shadow one movement at a time so he could practice staying fully present in concert. With his shadow, the sensations were so full it left no room for negative self-talk and second guessing. It pushed aside his resistance. When Tom stayed connected to his shadow, he let more sensation into his awareness, and that gave him a new freedom on stage. Tom used what Phil Stutz and Michels call the threefold process. First, before going on stage, Tom promised his shadow that no matter what happened, Tom was there for him and wouldn't abandon or blame his shadow. Second, during the performance itself, Tom did his best to at least have brief flashes of awareness of his shadow. And third, after the performance, Tom thanked his shadow regardless of how it went. The most important thing was that they had done it together. This meant that he had his shadow's back. And because of that, Tom no longer felt alone on stage. His concerts were more like shared adventures, co-created with his shadow. As a result, there was a new conviction, a more immediate energy to Tom's performances. He wasn't hiding anymore. Tom was on the path to becoming whole. My own shadow work has allowed me to experience writing not as a solitary pursuit, but more like playing chamber music. With my shadows, I'm not alone. I have a whole team, and I'm grateful for it. When I consciously connect with my shadow parts, I can bring all of me, not just to my creative work, but to my whole life. The goal of shadow work is to accept all of yourself, the polished parts as well as the awkward ones. For performers, this means walking on stage fully present, no longer apologizing for or hiding any of yourself. For composers, it means you can dare to write more courageous music instead of letting your ego's inhibitions put dots on the page. That's where creative freedom begins. And I want to come clean here. Shadow work isn't simply a tactic for peak performance, it's a spiritual practice. It helps you move through resistance and reconnect with the source of inspiration. Call it the collective unconscious, Mother Nature, your higher power, or God. What matters is that you can make the connection. Your talent is worth cultivating this connection through your shadow. You deserve to show up whole, both on stage and in life. And I want to leave you with a line from writer-activist Parker Palmer on why he does shadow work. He says, "I care about not being one of those people who will die saying, I was here for 75 years and I never showed up as my true self." If you found this helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear how your shadow work is going. See you next time.